Hello.
Hello, every pony.
How's every pony doing?
As you see, I got my Rainbow Dash toy again.
And the Sonic, of course.
Yeah, this time the toys are being held by their owners.
Well, it's not a toy. It's the Sonic screwdriver.
Shut up! It's a toy version of it. Blah!
Sonic screwdriver. Okay. Today, me and JTH here will be doing Twi and Me, Part 1.
Yeah. Earlier we finished up Swayback Mountain. Finally, after so much trial and error.
And it was adorable.
Yes, it was. And this evening, when we're still hanging out right now, we probably won't get to Part 2 and 3 of this until next time we hang out.
Maybe.
But maybe. But it is getting a little late. But we are going to be reacting to Twi and Me this time. From what we know, it's a human and Twilight Sparkle Klopvik.
Again, done by Ace Ka.
Thank you so much, Ace Ka. This is the third reading we're reading from you. You so totally rock.
You need to do Lunati.
Yeah, in case you don't know, that's the sequel to Princess Molestia.
I think I sent him a message, actually, to ask him to do Lunati.
Really? He said he does take requests.
Yeah, well, we'll see what happens.
Well, anyways, from what we have heard, you know, like we said, human Twilight Sparkle Klopvik, it's told in third person also, from what I'm told.
So it's like it's happening to you.
No, it's happening to the guy, not you. That's first person.
You're right, correct. My fault.
But this is third person. You know, it says I this, I that. If he was talking in first person, it would be you this, you that, blah 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 blah.
Yeah, you're right. My bad.
So, anyways, here we go. Twi and Me, Part Uno.
Let's do it.
Hey, every pony! Welcome to another fan-diddly-izzly Bedasmo fanfiction reading.
Okay, that was random.
Today, we're gonna be reading Twi and Me, which I guess is a human and Twilight
Ignore my messy hair.
Klopvik. And it's also in third person, from what I can tell by the first paragraph. So, let's go. This is by Hot Sauce. I love his name. Here we go.
I love hot sauce.
With Twilight's help, I eased myself painfully down onto her couch.
Painful.
Nurse Mercy back in Ponyville Clinic had done a great job with the bandaging, but the wound in my side. Although well on my way to healing, I was still throbbing painfully, and I'd run out of the little candy-shaped painkillers that I'd been given. Luckily, there was an open bottle of dandelion wine on the coffee table.
No!
And I reached across and took the bottle gratefully. Oh, you're not going to drink that.
He's gonna drink alcohol?
Why not?
The little unicorn looked on in concern. As
Hey, for your information, I'm not an alcoholic.
Neither am I.
Nurse Mercy said you shouldn't drink alcohol until you're feeling better. Look, Twi, I said, pausing to knock back the quick mouthful. The warm, sweet liquor was already doing me more good than all the painkillers I'd taken.
I don't know why they
I got
say
hit
that
by a manticore
alcohol helps
I
you.
think I'm going to have a drink to
Yikes.
celebrate the fact that I'm not dead.
Yeah.
Nurse Mercy be damned. Twi giggled at my swearing, but then her face filled with remorse. It's all my fault. We never should have gone into the Everfree Forest. I almost got you killed. I smiled at her and shook my head. It wasn't your fault, Twi. You were just trying to help me. And if you hadn't reached me in time, I'd be in a lot worse shape than just having a bunch of puncture marks in my side.
Ouch.
What in the question are you talking about? Twi frowned. You leaped in front of me. Nah, I was just trying to run past you. You see, I didn't have to outrun the manticore. I just had to outrun you. I winked at her to let her know that I was joking.
I would hope so.
But I was not
Yeah.
picking up even the most obvious jokes, so you had to be careful. Twi giggled. She was a throaty, gentle little laugh that you couldn't hear that often. I'd been trying to get her to loosen up a little, and it seemed to be working, but she was still obsessed with returning me to the human world after all I had Fry here, by accident through one of her spells.
Oh, come on. Why would you want to go back? I'd want to stay.
Aren't you going to join me? I
miss
asked,
my family.
waggling the bottle in
I
front
would
of her
too,
face.
but I'd still want to
I
stay
can't possibly
for a
drink the
while.
whole bottle all by myself on my weekend condition. Twi eyed him with
Oh, I hope he's not trying to
don't
get her
tease
drunk.
me. You know I've been sworn off alcohol. And, well, that was true, she had. For she had been drunk when she cast the spell that had accidentally dragged me into Equestria rather than the sample of extra-dimensional plant life that she had intended.
I
She'd
never
been collecting
drank
plants
really
from the various
Me
universes
either.
that bordered on Equestria.
I'm gonna wait till I'm of
Usually
age,
simple
then
things
I'll
bring
have at
samples
least a
to
beer
the
every
small
now and
portal
then, like
that
my
she'd
dad
opened up.
does.
But around a month
He only,
ago,
like, has one
you
at,
can
like,
shop
huge
for the
parties or
11
something.
Vodka, Vicupine Rarity. Twi had become... poop. Twi had come home and thrown herself back into her work. Instead of a sample of plant
the
life,
Why would you start
it was
working
me
when
who
you're
ended up
drunk?
getting sucked
I know.
Like, I wouldn't get drunk and
here
go
for
to
a few
work or
months
go to
now.
school. Like, how you
I've tried all
doing?
the magic
I'm
tricks
gonna
Twilight
do
had
my
taken me
school like
through,
that.
but
Pass
the news
out.
hadn't been good. The princesses told us that although
Okay,
drawing
I'll
things to
stack a
Equestria was quite
box
straightforward,
for
there was no easy way to send things back.
I'm a dork, I know.
And here's where the explanation became a bit hard for me to follow. Universes keep moving around
I
at
am a
random,
dork.
predicting which one
Yes,
will
you are.
to Equestria at any given moment is well nigh impossible. And so I was stuck here. I'd moped around for about a week, as you might expect, worrying about my family and friends back on Earth, but slowly I'd adapted to life here in Equestria. Having to be a vegetarian and also eat
That's
dessert
probably one
3
of
times
my
a day wasn't all
like
that bad.
vegetarian.
And the ponies
Me
were
either.
I'm a
pretty
meatitarian,
friggin'
damn it.
Meat connoisseur.
Gonna eat chocolate and ice cream cake 3 times a day.
You get diabetes.
Yeah.
They'd welcomed me with open arms.
That runs in my family, which would suck.
And here in Ponyville, there weren't any essays to write, exams to sit, or other pointless, mundane crap like that had filled my pretty disappointing overall life back on.
Yay.
And
No
so
more hard work.
I'd started
That'd
to
be good.
enjoy living here.
Life would
And
be
more
fun.
and more, I was wanting Twi not to find a way to get me back home, but the stubborn little pony refused to be diverted from her latest project, and she spent day and night obsessing about it. Although recently I'd managed to get her to take breaks from her experimentation and research, but she always seemed to somehow find a way to involve her work with whatever little activity I dragged her off to.
Seriously.
Our
She's
ill-fated
Twilight,
little
what do you
walk through the
expect?
pleasant
I know, but
flower-filled
still,
meadows
seriously.
of Fluttershy's treehouse was the latest example. I'd been getting Twi to tell me the names of all the different birds and insects and plants that we encountered. I knew she loved showing off her knowledge, and spending time outdoors in the endless sunshiny days of Equestria Spring
Excuse me.
was much more fun than being stuck in her
What?
laboratory and watching her
What's
make
funny?
I just drank soda.
strange
That was funny.
chemicals in a seemingly endless succession. Well, I don't know, that might sound kind of interesting. Equestrian flora and fauna
You can
overlap
see how
with ours
crappy
in a
my
lot of ways,
goatee is on the
but
screen.
there was often some strange punny aspects.
Unlike mine.
As we walked together through the meadow fields, we
Sure.
found buttercups that in Equestria taste like real butter. They were Twi's
Buttercups that
favorite.
taste like
She
real
finally
butter?
cajoled me into trying some. They've been
Want?
creamy and delicious.
Oh.
Sunflowers that shone so brightly with their own light that you could barely stand to look at them.
Really?
Snapdragons that snapped at you when you tried to pick them. And so, at last, I decided to try picking some daisies instead. And having found them to be just the same as the ones you get back on Earth,
Yay.
I made a little bouquet out of them and surprised Twi with them.
I've eaten,
Aww.
Doll.
cute.
For me,
I've eaten a
she
daisy
cried with
before.
delight, taking the bouquet in her mouth
And I've also
and
eaten a
straight away
dandelion.
starting to eat it.
What? Why would you eat a
How did
bouquet
you know
of flowers?
daisies were my favorite?
She's
And
a
as I watched
pony.
her happily
They
chewing
eat,
Still.
them,
they
I
eat
suddenly
flower. They
realized
eat flowers and
I
stuff.
was in love.
Still, you should need something given to you as a gift.
Lavender-colored pony.
Oh, he's in
Aw.
love
And
with
here we
I
go.
Aww.
I think that's what
Gonna
he
go.
gave him to her for, dude.
It's gonna go
Yeah.
wild from here.
Oh.
I guess I'd been trying to fight the feelings for a good while now. When I'd first come to Equestria, I'd been a little freaked out by all the talking ponies and dragons and so on. But you'd be
I'd
amazed
welcome
how
it like,
quickly
Yeah.
the ponies were adorable, with their big eyes and cheerful faces, their ability to talk and their human mannerisms, and their round little bodies that seemed like they were made from marshmallow. They were quite unlike real ponies or horses, except for odd times such as this one, with Twi munching on the bouquet just like a real pony would. A single white petal she'd missed sticking to her lip. But it
Oh,
was one thing to think of them as people, and quite another to fall in love with one.
Yeah.
As she walked through those
what the hell?
flowery meadows,
I
the
don't know,
gentle
what the
buzzing
hell?
of the bees in our ears, the glittery spring sun setting
you're
the
stuck
little
there. You might
brooks,
as well find someone to
settling
be
the
with.
little brooks, we
Yeah.
hopped. Oh, god damn it!
But if I was there, I'd like.
We
I
hopped
wouldn't want to
over
be a
into
human. I'd
streams
say,
of
okay,
tiny
you know,
diamonds.
transform
My heart
me
became
into a
filled with
stallion.
increasing.
Yeah, same here.
I was in love with Twilight Sparkle.
Yay.
She probably saw me as nothing more than another interesting sample from an alternative universe, or even worse, a friend.
Ouch.
Ugh, ouch.
Oh, man, now I feel
Feel for
bad for the guy.
Feel
Yeah.
for him.
I mean, for real, man. Like, that's just
Sad.
terrible.
Yeah. Thank you for correcting me.
Twi had been watching me for a while now as I'd looked downcast, but she, in her own little way, completely misinterpreted the reason for my sudden dejection. But Twi was like that. She wasn't good at understanding emotions, especially the emotions of others. I guess it was that variety of naivety that so often goes hand in hand with genius.
They just.
And so she walked up to me, and getting up on her hind legs, she placed a forehoof on my shoulder and said, with sisterly concern, "I promise I'll do everything I can to get you back home."
Aww.
I looked at her, and the soft kindness of her big violet eyes filled my heart with a terrifying mixture of longing and anxiety. But then I saw them sparkle with sudden intensity. "Ooh, I just had an amazing idea!" cried Twi. "Follow me!" And without further ado, she started to trot off in the direction of the evergreen forest. I just stood there. Wait, Twilight, what idea? What are you talking about? Twi stopped and looked back at me with exasperation. We're gonna go to the Temple of the Two Sisters. Don't you remember that Princess Celestia said that only the most ancient of all ancient magic could get you home? And there's sure to be something there, some clue, some object, something that can help us. Great. Another quiet little moment together, ruined. I didn't want to seem unthankful though, so I masked the feelings of sudden disappointment, that welled up in me with the thought of leaving Equestria, and I ran to catch up with him. But we'd never reached the temple, and instead had met up with a manticore. Not the kind-hearted one that Fluttershy had tamed, but a vicious and terrifying predator that we just barely escaped from with our
Shotgun.
lives.
No, I can't.
After jumping in front of its mighty tail and taking the blow that had been intended for Twilight, I'd fallen on the ground, dazed and
So he did jump in front of it.
with just enough life left in me to watch in awe and amazement as the
Cool.
manticore was
That
plugged
did
through
it.
the air as if
Duh,
by mighty
Tails.
invisible
Yeah.
hand.
Dodge!
The desperate power of Twi's magic. And then, slipping in and out of consciousness, blood pouring from my side, Twi had carried me out of the forest on her back. We were closer to Ponyville than to Zikora's hut, which was deep in the center of the forest. Okay. Reading this story like this, I'm gonna say it's not so much. I'm gonna say it's a ship between a human and Twilight, because this hasn't really been much sexual stuff so far, and
Maybe it's like
so I'm gonna say it's
building
a
up
ship
toward
instead of a clock.
sexual. I mean, I don't know.
Maybe.
We'll find out.
Yeah, we will.
Several hours. Nurse Mercy had concerned with remorseful Twilight at my side, but that was
Excuse
yesterday,
me.
and now I was sitting on.
Man,
the
all that
couch,
soda has
drinking
gone to your
dandelion
stomach.
wine and feeling much, much better. But Twilight was just as remorseful as she had been when I'd first woken from my
Okay,
daze.
you know what? This is gonna be a really
So
weird
sorry
question,
I brought
but
you here. Away from all
anybody
your
out there, if you're
friends
watching
and
this,
family,
look at my
she
face
said.
and see
That
how it
awful
looks. Then
injury.
picture a
It's all
goatee.
my
Tell me if I
fault.
should shave
Show it
or
down in
if
her
I should let
rose.
it grow or not.
You must
I want. Why not get people's opinions?
I laughed, and at the
Didn't even
sound,
know me,
Twi
who
raised
cares?
her face again and looked
What
at
do
me
you
in
think?
confusion. Oh, Twi, I don't hate you. But of course, I didn't say what I felt.
Damn
My
it!
heart did a
Why didn't
somersault,
you?
and panicking, I found myself.
That would be
babbling
too
instead.
soon.
You're an awesome friend, and I really, really like you as a friend. I mean.
Ouch.
Oh,
God. Did I really just say all that crap?
blimey.
Blimey.
But Twi didn't seem put off by my pathetic ramblings. In fact, she seemed pleased. Her look of misery had brightened into a smile, and her shoulder had slumped in relief. Really? You think of me as a friend?
Okay, just
I nodded lamely. Well, that was the end of that. I poured myself another glass of dandelion wine, but as I did, I suddenly saw a second glass floating in the air before me, held in place by a magenta glow.
yay.
I looked at Twi, and she smiled back in embarrassment. I guess I will have a drink after all.
Okay.
Ho, ho!
It's
I
in fact,
chuckled
I'm like,
as I
oh
poured her
crap,
a
here we
substantial
go.
glass of fiery liquor. You definitely deserve it, Twi. That was some amazing magic out there. Twi's ears went back, and she blushed.
Aw.
Thank you, she replied. Then her ears perked up again, and she looked at me with glittering eyes. You were pretty amazing, too, you know. I know some big, burly stallions that wouldn't try and face up with the manticore like you did. I think it was just foolishness rather than bravery, I replied. Twi looked at me with a frown. Foolishness? I blinked, then quickly corrected myself. Twi wasn't great with irony, either. Yeah, okay. I guess I was pretty brave. Twi nodded. You were. It was just luck that was the glancing blow. That manticore could easily have killed you.
Oh,
Took
hey,
another
thanks.
drink from her
Yeah.
glass and threw it
That's
back
what I'd be
over to
like.
me for a refill.
Thank you.
And I was
Okay.
more than happy to oblige.
If I had my shotgun, I would
I
have
love
been
drinking
fine.
at the best of times, but drinking with a pretty girl who's not afraid to meet you drink for drink is even better, don't you agree? And unlike most human girls, Twi could actually hold her liquor without getting sleepy or collapsing. In fact, the liquor made her talkative and upbeat, quite different from her usual phlegmatic self.
Really?
Phlegmatic, not phlegmatic. Unlike the other little ponies in Ponyville, Twi was genuinely interested in my stories about the human world. I regaled her with my knowledge of science, only some of which was applicable to the world of Equestria. For example, for them, the sun revolved around their planet in the seasons were a result of, you guessed it, magic. I explained to Twi about how our world revolved around the sun, and how the tilt of the globe on its axis was what brought our seasons. She sat there, riveted, and I laughed to myself that this was the first time in my life that my knowledge of science had been useful in keeping a girl entertained. Man, I'm jelly. I'm jelly of this guy.
I'm kind of a little jelly of them too.
So,
Me too.
Earth is essentially an entire planet like the Everfree Forest? Her eyes were wide with amazement. Life on
what?
your world must be so dangerous. What with all the monsters roaming around everywhere? I chuckled.
We're the monsters.
There aren't really
Twi.
any monsters on Earth. I mean,
That's the sad
we
part.
used to have dinosaurs. Big lizard things, not much different from dragons. But they all got wiped out. I guess you could say that the only monsters left on Earth now are us humans. Some
Yeah.
people still believe in them. I mean, believe in werewolves and vampires and stuff like that. I suddenly laughed.
Well-
You know, Twi, I'm so glad that the
Believe in
first thing that
Sasquatch.
pops into my head now when I hear the name Twilight is your face, and not those lame, sparkly vampires.
I agree, my
Twi
friend.
paused mid-sip and frowned.
Oh,
What do you
stupid
mean?
series.
Sparkly vampires. Well,
But
I
yeah,
didn't
when
really
I
want to
heard
get
Twilight
involved
Sparkle,
in
whenever I hear the word
explanation.
Twilight, I agree with him. I see
there
her
was a
first.
series of novels called Twilight
I don't see
that
that
were
stupid
pretty
book.
popular for a while in the human
Yeah.
world.
I'm not that
They had
fond of
these
the
lame,
movies either.
sparkly vampires in them that Twi
Liar.
snorted. You know there's no such thing as
I only
vampires,
go watch
right?
them because my parents want to
No
see
idea
them.
why any pony would want to read about things that aren't real.
And your
It seems like
girlfriend.
such a waste of time
Yes.
to me. Oh. Bullet to my
Oh,
heart.
you hear what she said? That is a bullet to our hearts.
Yeah.
Why anybody would want to read about something fake? That's a bullet to
Just
my
for
heart.
fun, I
Yeah.
guess. I replied, shrugging. I started kicking myself that the conversation had gone in this direction.
Yeah,
I've
it
been
would
getting
be
all
too.
worked up over the science, and now she's on the defensive and about to start one of her
Stop yelling!
made up stuff isn't fun. Twi
Why
rolled
is
her
it so
eyes over.
contagious?
It's been painful. Statistics and graphs and facts, now they're fun. She raised her head with her horn glow.
I hate that kind of stuff.
She levitated
Like,
down a huge
ponies,
book from high up
Doctor
on top.
Who,
The bookshelf
and
written on the spine was
Other good stuff. That's fun.
Encyclopedia Equestria Book of
Don't
Life.
forget, don't forget
And as she
DBZ.
opened it, I
DBZ,
saw
yes,
the
Dragon Ball
subtitle
Z,
on
the
the front cover.
original,
That's fun.
is the best.
So, what should I look up? She asked excitedly. I shrugged.
And humans?
I don't know.
No,
How about...
they wouldn't have any knowledge of humans and.
Manticores.
and
You never
The
know.
little unicorn muttered as she flipped through the book rapidly and then cried out when she found what she was looking for. Aha! Here we are! She cleared her throat and started to recount the fun fact that she'd discovered.
Yeah.
The spines in a manticore's tail are covered in a venom containing an anticoagulant, which
You mean
makes wounds
coagulant.
inflicted by them bleed for days afterwards.
Yeesh.
She crinkled her muzzle. Ew, that's actually kind of gross.
Mhm.
She looked at my bandaged side, and it makes me feel even worse about... what happened. It's definitely an interesting fact, though. I chuckled, brightening up. Maybe facts could be fun. Here, pass me the book. Twi hopped up onto the couch to lay down so that she could read the book alongside me. Her eyes were glued to my hands as I flipped through the pages rapidly, looking for another fun fact.
I would be like so uncomfortable
useful
just
having
having
those
her like this.
Hands.
Yeah.
Basically, her
Twi
head
sighed.
over my
It
legs.
would be
Just
pretty
like,
exhausting having
it's like,
to use magic to move everything around.
Yeah.
hi. I would just like want to pet her.
Yeah.
How about those poor Earth ponies? I said. Twi looked thoughtful. Well, yes, but Earth ponies are much stronger than unicorns. Well, it says here that Earth ponies are usually 3 times as strong as unicorns. Really?
Wow.
Oh, let me see, let me see!
Mhm.
She scooched herself up closer to look over my shoulder, and I suddenly felt the softness of her coat where her foreleg was brushing against my upper arm. She was so near to me now that I could smell her usual scent of vanilla and lavender. Oh,
Oh.
Oh.
I'm gonna get super jelly. This guy.
I'm jelly right now.
Me too.
It was from the soap that Twi used, and for a long time now I'd associated her with the smell. As we read together, taking turns looking up more and more ludicrous and little-known facts, she kept pouring drink after drink, and we were soon getting pretty tipsy.
Oh
A
no.
lot of the fun facts were suddenly a lot more fun than they would have ordinarily been, and the entry on the mating dance of dragons had us in hysterics. Tears were running down Twilight's face. Oh, we have to show Rarity this! She'll
Oh, no.
never look at Spike the same way again! Who knew that dragons did all that? As I caught my breath, I said, don't be so far on the little guy. He'd never
I
live
agree.
it down.
I agree.
Twilight wiped
Wouldn't.
her eyes.
That'd be horrible.
Yeah, I guess you're right. She turned, and floating a nearly open bottle of wine across the...
They finished a whole
across the
bottle?
glass, she freshened our glasses. Man,
Oi, oi, oi.
it must be like their fourth bottle.
Seriously?
I took mine out of the air and glanced
Seriously.
it over at the smiling little unicorn who was already taking gulps of wine in between giggles.
I do a pretty
Miss
good drunk
Sparkle,
impersonation, don't
Are
I?
you trying to get me drunk?
No.
Twilight took the glass from her lips. Her cheeks suddenly flushed red. Why?
Hand.
Why would I be trying to do that? I have absolutely no idea. But lucky for you, I like being drunk. I said, taking another mouthful of the wine. Twi's eyes flickered over my face, but didn't linger anywhere for long. And I noticed her trying to hide a nervous little smile. Why don't we read a little bit more? She suggested.
How can you read straight when you're
What should
drunk?
we look up now? I asked.
I don't know.
I've already read about the terrible secret behind sea serpent facial hair, the reason why griffins and ponies hate each other, and that strange case of oatmeal that made all the ponies in Hoofington go crazy. Twi's eyes flashed. Oh, ponies and griffins! That reminds me.
Like that one sea serpent in the second part of the first episode.
I want to know what's up with the
me
facial hair now.
She flipped the pages looking for the entry she was interested in. I felt my heart beat faster as she rubbed against me, but suddenly found the page she was looking for and sat back on her half of the sofa. I looked down at the page. Hippogriffs? Twi nodded. I read the entry.
Fuck.
It says that the
creature that Buckbeak is in Harry Potter.
Produced with
You're right.
magic. I scratched my
That's
head.
what he is.
I never
That's a
thought about
hypocrite.
that.
No, hippogriff.
But don't you think it's amazing that two species that are so different can actually fall in love? Oh, man.
Boy.
Here we go.
Here we go.
Her violet eyes searched my face. Oh, no. Twilight's making her move.
Yay.
Well, it is pretty amazing. And actually kind of adorable if you think about it. Twilight clapped her hooves together. Oh, it is, isn't it? Let's have another drink. I was already quite drunk now, but Twi kept levitating the dandelion wine over and topping up my glass. It was at that point when you stop being able to judge how much you've had to drink already, and I took another sip, turned to Twi and looked at her. She'd had a few drinks too by now. She hadn't quite been meeting me drink for drink, but her cheeks were flushed, and she was softly smiling as she shyly looked down at the glass floating before her face. Hey, you're not tired, are you? I asked suddenly. I was worried that the evening was starting to come to an end just when we were starting to get close. Twi didn't look up and just shook her head. I leaned over and looked up at her, but she turned her face away, and the flush from the liquor deepened into a blush on her cheeks. I think I've had a bit too much to drink, she whispered. Oh, come on, Twi. Let me see those gorgeous eyes of yours. All that wine that made me braver. Cute. And with her body so close to mine, I was gripped with a desperate need to see that face I'd fallen in love with. Not gorgeous, she said, still refusing to meet my gaze. And my face feels all flushed. I must look terrible. I don't think it's possible for you to look terrible, I told her.
Thank you.
I brought my hand to her face and lifted it up. She didn't resist, but just stared at me, her violet eyes glistening behind those long, dark lashes. You really think so? She asked shyly. I nodded. You know, I've had a thing for you since the first time we met.
Oh, he's gonna say it.
Yeah.
Here we go.
Here we go. Thank you, Aska.
Thing for me? I felt my heart beating faster. I guessed it was now or never. You know, a crush.
Yay.
I realized
You
I
said
had
it.
to tell her
Yay.
sooner or later. At least this way, I'd get it all out of my system and not have it eating me away inside. Her mouth became an O of surprise. You have a crush? On me? She said, pulling away.
Yeah, he does.
You're not freaked out, are you, Twi? I was gripped by sudden panic that cut through my drunkenness. I'd forgotten that I was essentially a hairless... Yeah, I guess to all the animals who always have fur, and you see this animal come along with, like, no fur. It'd be pretty gross. I'd forgotten that I was essentially a hairless ape in the world of magical ponies. I knew I must look strange to them. And strange was more or less the same thing as unattractive. But Twi didn't reply, and just turned her face away. Twi?
What are you staring at?
I felt my heart like a dead weight of ice sink in my chest.
Looking at the thing on your back.
I wanted to reach out to her and touch her, but my hand fell back. I knew my heart just wouldn't be able to stand it if she recoiled from me at the last moment. But at last, she turned back to look at me, and her eyes were glistening with the beginnings of tears.
Hmm?
Twi, what's wrong? Why are you making fun of me? She demanded,
What?
distraught. I thought you were my friend. Did she really think I was making
I'm
fun of her?
confused.
Me
I
too.
fought off my own tears. I'd never do that to you, Twi, I said. I slipped a hand onto her foreleg, and she looked down at it, but she made no move to pull away.
Okay.
Is it really so hard to believe I'd have a crush on you? You don't think I'm ugly?
Oh, Twilight!
Become tears.
Twilight.
Down her lavender cheeks in droplets, like diamonds, were trapped by her thick black lashes.
Yeah.
Ugly? What are you talking about? Weird, then? She
Twilight.
said, her voice a little more than a whisper.
You're none of those.
Ugly, weird egghead?
Aww. Twilight.
Why?
Come on.
Don't talk about yourself like that.
Aw.
That's horrible.
I know.
Who would color that?
Oh. Who
You see,
called
his
you
coat's
that?
just as torn up
I
about that
was
as
suddenly
me.
furious at the thought that someone would be so mean-spirited. Ponies have, she replied.
Well, what the
It's
fuck
true.
do they know?
I'm a plain, boring egghead with a fat rump who no pony would ever want. Oh,
What?
Come on!
Come on!
Here.
Come
I
on,
just want-
Twi, you're killing me here.
This is gonna sound really, really strange.
Just say it.
But if I were in this guy's situation, I'd do the best thing possible. I'd just give her a nice romantic kiss on the lips. You know what I'm saying?
Thank you, bro. Thank you.
Sorry for shaking the computer, but yes, thank you, Ace Cod. That's what I would do too.
Oh,
This
I think
one
this is
was-
the first romance story I've ever actually liked. Her tears were falling onto the couch now. I've never even had a cult friend before.
Aw.
Aw. I
Aww.
guess stallions just find a mare who's interested in reading and books a bit too boring to want to date.
Mm.
Oh, come on!
Mm.
Her eyes closed in pain. I mean, I'm no Fluttershy. I can be pretty tetchy at times, and I guess that scares a lot of guys off. No pony wants a girlfriend who uses big words. Oh,
Mm.
oh, come!
Come on.
Mm.
Oh, this fan fiction.
Thank you.
I feel. Oh, I just want to love Twilight.
I just want to
Who
give
told you
her a
that
hug.
garbage?
I just want to
demanded.
give her a hug.
Rainbow Dash.
What?
What?
Rainbow
Well-
Dash? Giving
I'm
you
disappointed
advice
in
about
you, Rainbow.
stallions? I
You
feel-
disappoint me,
I think
Dash.
you can discount anything.
Making
you
fun of
said.
Twilight. What's the
I bet
matter
it
with
was
you?
Rainbow Dash. Pretend
Still
you were
love you,
an
though.
egghead as well.
Yeah,
I reached
she is
out
our
and put
favorite
my arms
character.
around her.
That was so
Fleshy,
weird.
but didn't
I know.
So I pulled her towards me and hugged her. Aww.
Yay.
Aw.
There you
Yay.
go, guy. There you go.
There you go.
know what to do.
Yeah, buddy.
Hey, there we go.
You're none of those things, I told her. You're funny. You're smart. But I wouldn't call you an
People
egghead.
might have found that moment
Eggheads
funny
are
though.
supposed to be boring. You're easily the most interesting individual I've ever met. You really think so? She rested a head on my shoulder. She
Aw.
rested her head on my shoulder. It was soft and warm, and I could feel the hot wetness of the tear-filled eye against my cheek. Really, I replied. But most of all, you're beautiful, Twi.
Aw.
I don't think you realize how beautiful you are.
Hmm.
Aww.
This is cute.
Yeah.
She pulled out of my arms and slid across the couch away from me. Please stop saying those things. I know you're just saying that to make me feel better.
Oh, come
I
on.
shook my head, seeing her so fragile, so vulnerable,
kiss
so
her.
unlike her usual stubborn, opinionated self, was breaking my heart. I'd never lie to you to make you feel better. You'd be able to tell straight away if I was. Twi looked at me. Why do you think I'm beautiful?
Why
I look
not?
just like one of those animal ponies you told me about from your universe that spend the entire day eating grass and neighing and pooping.
You look nothing like that.
Haha. Animal ponies? I chuckled. I never met a pony in my universe that would sit on the couch beside me and have a drink and have fun and fall in. I stopped before I said too much.
Thank you for stopping yourself.
Why don't you like some pony like Rarity then? She asked. Or Fluttershy? You're so much more beautiful than me. Oh, come on.
Come on.
Cut it out.
Are you going to make me say it, Twi? I closed my eyes for a moment in pain. It's those eyes of yours, Twi. That look you get in them
I would
sometimes
agree.
when you're talking
Yeah.
about stuff you
Your eyes
love.
really are pretty.
Mm-hmm.
Well, your mane. I went red.
Wish it was
Never
real.
sweet talked a girl by praising her mane before. and it did feel weird.
Well, she is
But it was
real in
true.
real life.
Those
Yeah.
bangs made her look totally adorable. The real sexy librarian type, but it also showed how naive she was. And I found that innocence about her maddening. You like my mane? Twi sniffed. She wasn't crying anymore.
Yay.
No pony's ever told me that they liked my mane before. Don't you think it's totally unfashionable, Cut?
What?
I mean, it's nowhere near as... Ugh.
Bleh.
Sorry, I had a bit of an upchuck there.
Too much information.
It's nowhere near as gorgeous as Rarity's, and let Rarity have that wavy mane of hers, I snorted. Your cut suits you, Twi. I can't imagine your mane any other way.
Yeah, he knows what to say.
Besides,
Yeah, he does.
I think it's adorable. You're adorable.
Aw.
Twi looked up at me shyly. At long last, she seemed to believe what I was saying, and her mouth opened, but no words came out. She stared at me like that for several heartbeats, and then all of a sudden, a stream of words exploded out of her mouth. I think I have a crush on you, too!
Yay.
When she finished, she turned away. Her face was a bright crimson.
Yay. Yay.
Alright. So,
Don't cliffhang it.
Hold on.
I think that's a good place to cliffhang this.
Come on, bro. Okay, here's the deal, people.
Just when it was starting to get good.
Part 2 coming soon. Maybe later on tonight. We're not positive.
Yeah, but
But,
still.
you know, we still got food to eat and stuff like that. Other stuff to do.
Yeah.
Video games and crap. But I think this is our longest video. It's almost 32 minutes.
Yeah.
All right, we better click off before.
We go over any limits.
Yeah, later.
Later, every pony. And remember, take care. Spike your hair. Woo, woo, woo.
You
You know it.